Hey, good morning, everybody, or good afternoon, good evening for some. Hello, you may feel free to show yourselves, unmute yourselves. Hi, it's nice to see all of you. Welcome, I'm Jennifer Rosenberg. I'm one of the Associate Deans in the UB School of Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Sciences. It's great to meet you. Thank you for joining us today. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and then introduce all of the faculty and staff and students that we have with us today. So if you hold on 1 second, I'll be right with you. One moment. Okay, everybody can see this okay? Yep. Okay, great. Okay. Hold on. So welcome to Pharmaceutical Sciences graduate students. Again, I'm Jennifer Rosenberg. It's great to meet you. Just some housekeeping items before you begin. Just please mute your microphone, but please keep your video on if you would like. You may ask questions in the chat. We will get to them as soon as we can. And if you're disconnected, just please join in. We always have Zoom issues ourselves. No worries. If we lose you, please just come back. We'll assume you want to come back. So please just come right back and we'll let you in back of the room. So today we're here for our accepted student webinar. Just a quick overview. We're going to do, we did the welcome part. We're going to introduce our faculty, do a little bit about our school, give you some highlights about our department, information about the PhD and the MS programs, offer some next steps about orientation, registration, advising, housing, and then we're going to give you a chance to meet some of our students and give you sort of the rest and the end of the session to talk with them about life in our school in Buffalo, Western New York. So I'm going to have our presenters. I'm actually just going to have them introduce themselves. If you'd like to unmute. Again, I'm Jennifer Rosenberg. I'm the Associate Dean for Admissions. Maybe we'll start with Dr. Morris.
Yep, I'm Dr. Marilyn Morris. I'm a professor and also chair of the Department of Pharmaceutical Sciences. Welcome all.
All right, I'm Rob Bees. I'm the associate professor and the director of graduate studies.
Hello, my name is Christine Stum, and I'm the registrar at the School of Pharmacy and associate director of admissions and advisement.
Okay. We also have 3 students with us, and I'm going to have them each introduce themselves in their order, and we're going to get back to them at the end of our session where you'll have the opportunity to get to talk with them as well. So I think we'll start with Kim.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kim. I'm a second-year PhD student, and I work in Dr. Bees' lab.
Hi, everyone. My name is Elizabeth Hayden. I'm a third-year PhD student studying just drug transport in Dr. Sprawl's lab. Excited to meet and talk to all of you.
Hi, I'm John Perry. I'm a second-year PhD student in Straubinger lab, focusing on cancer biology with nanotherapeutics.
Great, thank you. Okay, just some quick high-level strengths about our school. We haven't had too much FaceTime with you as accepted students, and some of you are continuing UB students. So again, just some information about our school. We are proudly here to work with you as pharmacy and pharmaceutical sciences students. We don't just graduate students, we graduate leaders, both in our PharmD programs and our pharmaceutical sciences programs. And we've been around for quite some time doing this. We have renowned faculty, particularly in our pharmaceutical sciences programs, but also in our pharmacy practices program, where you'll get to meet all of our faculty, staff, and students. We are a small school, so everybody sort of knows everybody. We're accredited by the American Council for Pharmaceutical Education, and we're the #1 ranked school in New York State and number 14th nationally. Just some high-level points in addition. You know, I know you all get a lot of email from us all the time, because I send them all to you. But some key strengths that you may not be so familiar with. The University of Buffalo School of Pharmacy is part of an academic health center. Being part of the University of Buffalo or part of the State University of New York system, it's one of the largest public university systems in New York State and in the country. We're a 64 campus system, and we are the flagship institution. As a part of that, we are part of what we call an academic health center, where we have a medical school, a dental school, public health, nursing, social work, and pharmacy. And we are one of only 40 schools in the United States to also have a school of pharmacy as part of one of these academic health centers. And that brings a lot of really interdisciplinary work for both our pharmacy and our pharmaceutical sciences students to be able to work with faculty that are doing so many different things across disciplines. And that's really exciting for researchers and practitioners. It really provides a collaborative research environment in terms of funding, training. All of our faculty get to work with other faculty in other units, other schools, other departments. And it's really exciting, I think, for prospective students and current students when they have the opportunity to take advantage of this. Our alumni are, this is really my favorite strength of our school, I think. I think our alumni are our greatest strength. We have over 5,000 graduates who do so many important things for our school. They take maintaining the value and the integrity of their degrees very seriously, and they give back in very meaningful ways, not just through philanthropic ways. They give back through very meaningful mentorship, through advisement, through networking, through presenting, through scholarships, through all kinds of ways. So that's a really important trait in a school. You want to go to a school where the graduates care and are giving back. And finally, we really take focusing on your next steps after your life in graduate school seriously. And we really try to work with you on mentoring, on student organizations, on faculty advising. Life after graduate school may seem far away, but it kind of goes fast. I think sometimes PhDs don't go as fast as people think, but at some point you will move out into the world after graduate school. And we're here really to help and assist you. So again, I'd like to hand it over and we're going to move through our program and get to any questions that you have. So at this point, what I'd like to do is hand it over to Dr. Morris, and I'm going to mute myself and go from there.
Okay, thank you, Jennifer. And again, welcome everyone. I'm really glad that you could join us today. And again, feel free to reach out with any questions today or after our presentation. Anything that comes up, we'll be happy to talk further with you. So I'm just going to give a little overview of the department. So what are our research strengths? What are the areas, in which we have research projects ongoing? Well, first of all, pharmacokinetics and pharmacodynamics. We're often known for this. So pharmacokinetics, what happens to drugs in the body? Absorption, distribution to tissues, metabolism, elimination. And pharmacodynamics, that's the concentration effect relationships. What is the pharmacological activity of the drug? Systems pharmacology. This really looks at the way drugs affect the complex different biological systems in the body and quantitatively evaluate them. Pharmacometrics, again, another term, but really it relates to pharmacokinetics and pharmacodynamics, but it's really involved more with looking at the development of quantitative mathematical models for drugs and for diseases. A lot of research going on in cancer therapeutics, as John mentioned, protein therapeutics. We have a center for protein therapeutics, drug delivery, membrane transporters. Elizabeth mentioned that, and I work in that area. Bioanalysis and proteomics, a very, very big area in the pharmaceutical sciences, and pharmacogenomics, individualized pharmacotherapy. So our program highlights, we have a number of symposia that are offered through the year. The Center of Protein Therapeutics has a symposium every summer. Again, we have researchers that will be presenting in protein therapeutics, and it's a chance for our students to present as well. Quantitative systems pharmacology, again, we have a symposium every summer. Every few years, we have a Buffalo Pharmaceutical Sciences Symposium, and this is when we invite back all of our alumni. So it's a great time for learning, about science, but also for networking with our alumni, which is really important in our program, again, as Jennifer says, and we have close associations with all our alumni. And then other symposia are also on areas like computational and data-enabled sciences and engineering programs. We have a couple of special lectureships, and we invite distinguished scientists to present. So again, it's an opportunity to meet with and talk with distinguished scientists in the area. And the two lectureships we have are the Gerhard Levy Distinguished Scientist Lectureship and the David Chu Drug Development Lectureship. Our graduate students are very active. They have programs, but they also have an alumni lectureship where they invite back one of our alumni to really interact with the students and present again a lecture in their area. And importantly, many of our students are involved in internships in the pharmaceutical industry or the Food and Drug Administration. This isn't a requirement, but there's lots of opportunity for internships, and many will go, for example, over a 3-month period just to see what it's like in the pharmaceutical industry or the Food and Drug Administration. So graduate student support. We have faculty advisors. And so again, your research mentor will be your faculty advisor. We have also Dean's alumni ambassador mentors, again, to interact with. We have support from national and state organizations, but particularly national organizations. We have the American Association of Pharmaceutical Sciences graduate student organization, again, that's very active, but there's the potential to present at national meetings and interact again with scientists. Professional networking, I've talked about this a bit, our seminars and symposia, career days, again, the student organizations, and again, all of the software is available that's needed in our program through our computer facilities. This is a picture from our last Buffalo Pharmaceutical Symposium. So this is where we have our faculty, all of our students, and our alumni invited. We have 2 days of scientific talks and a lot of networking and social activities. And so for those of you that are from other places than Buffalo, you can see this is a nice sunny day in July. We have beautiful summer weather. And again, a lot of interactions and networking through this symposium. And this is our last almost get together in person, where we meet usually every December. We have a reception and get together where we celebrate our undergraduate and graduate student accomplishments and give out our awards. And so this is one of the many get-togethers that we have during the year and hope to have in the future, starting back in the fall after this last year. And so with that, I'm going to turn over to Dr. Bees, who's our Director of Graduate Studies, and he's really the contact person for questions on courses or anything with regards to the program. Again, thank you for your attention. Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Morris. So I was just going to give you a general overview of the required courses in the 3 pharmaceutical sciences graduate programs, and some additional information and some additional perspective on both the masters in pharmacometrics and the masters in pharmaceutical sciences. So for the PhD program, there is quite a significant pedagogical component in the first 3 semesters, basically 3 to 4 semesters. This includes a faculty research seminar, which gives the students an opportunity to learn about what research is going on in the laboratories, to actually have direct contact with faculty, and we encourage the students to interact and potentially set up research experiences through that mechanism. There's a course in drug development, PhD 500, protein and antibody therapeutics, which is a key and unique strength of the program at University of Buffalo. Pharmacogenetics, intermediate pharmacokinetics, drug metabolism and transport, drug delivery, biometry that gives more a statistical perspective and introduces students some statistical programming that can extend those mathematical models that Dr. Morris was alluding to, and of course in drug analysis. Get the next, okay. Oh, this should be the master's. Oh, you're muted there.
Yep, sorry about that. Sorry, we must have lost something here. Hold on. Sorry about that. Right there.
Maybe
Okay.
I'll just add a comment, so these are the sort of required courses for the PhD program, but we have many other advanced elective courses that give you the opportunity to learn a lot more in the area, particularly of pharmacokinetics and pharmacodynamics.
Yes, and specifically, there are advanced courses in pharmacokinetics and pharmacodynamics, as well as in population pharmacokinetics specifically, that students you can take advantage of. So the Masters in Pharmacometrics and Personalized Pharmacotherapy is our newest program, and it focuses on advanced training in pharmacometrics disciplines, so sort of a very pharmacostatistical perspective. And this is really also very closely oriented towards the optimization of therapeutics as well. So these techniques are really helpful in leveraging the types of learning and models in PK and PD and disease progression modeling to bring that to the level of influencing therapeutics. So it's a 1.5 to year program that includes not only conceptual training, but practical course offerings and opportunities to engage in research in this area, and is particularly well suited to positions in the pharmaceutical industry or regulatory agencies. So we can get the next slide. So the required courses look somewhat similar to the PhD, but there are some key differences. For example, the PhD 504, the computational basis of pharmacometrics. Students have the opportunity to really get acquainted with how some of these algorithms are implemented and how they're running. Biometry appears again. Pharmacometric software is a terrific opportunity to get acquainted with different platforms. Individuals from the develop these software platforms offer 1 to 2 day workshops that are really part of this formal course. So you can get acquainted with software like Monolix and SimSip and GastroPlus, et cetera. Pharmacogenomics is part of this, as well as intermediate pharmacokinetics, and then population pharmacokinetics. So this is that extension and incorporation of the pharmacostatistical component. So taking that fundamental knowledge you accrued with pharmacokinetics and pharmacodynamics and extending that so that you can describe populations effectively. What are the strategies for that, and how to best go about doing that? We can get the next slide, thanks. So the Masters in Pharmaceutical Sciences focuses on advanced training in PK/PD modeling, drug delivery, and systems pharmacology. So it's more expansive. And it's a 2 to 3 year program, again, and there's a lot of flexibility in the focus of this this master's program, so that you're not strictly looking at pharmacometric modeling and therapeutic optimization type of questions, but rather also drug delivery, systems pharmacology, mechanistic modeling kind of questions that arise as well. Again, it positions the students well for positions in the pharmaceutical industry and regulatory agencies in particular. If we go to the next slide, Jennifer. Great, thank you. So the required courses are much more open or broad in the MS in Pharmaceutical Sciences. The only key required course is the faculty research seminar. Then you'd have to take 10 credit hours of departmental didactic courses. So this could be the intermediate pharmacokinetics, drug delivery, protein therapeutics, et cetera. And you can customize this, and depending on your interest, the scope of your interests, you can come up with a core set of courses that informs that interest. And then you have 5 additional credit hours that are from other departmental courses, didactic and non-didactic. So workshop type courses, lab courses are included in that. And again, if there are any questions regarding any of this, I'd be happy to address them. Please feel free to reach out to me directly to discuss. Thank you, Jennifer.
Okay, I'm going to hand it over to Christine. Christine's going to do some high-level discussion about some next steps for you, and then we can go from there. Christine, do you need me to share any screens
No, I'll
for
share
you?
my screen.
Okay, so I'm going to stop.
Yep. Okay, so first I'm just going to put a few links in the chat, but I'm going to cover, let me just share my screen. Hold on one second. Okay, so you can see the webpage, okay? Okay. Somebody, let's see, I'm sorry, I'm a little distracted by some, I think we need to, I'm just gonna find some, oh, here we go, I got you. I had to mute you, Lawrence, sorry. Okay, so my, the main items I'm covering quickly today is orientation, registration, and housing. All of the specific information is here on the information for new students webpage, which I know you've been directed to several different times. So orientation, we have an online orientation that's going to open up to you next month, which is going to be an overview of a bunch of different services and resources that are available to you. And then we also have a in-person orientation scheduled for Thursday, August 26th and Friday, August 27th, which is the Thursday and Friday before classes start. Classes start that Monday. So orientation is mandatory for all students. And again, we expect it to be in person. We're going to share the agenda once it's all finalized, but we'll share additional information when the time gets closer. But we also want to make sure that you are aware to read the SPPS Reads book, which is The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks. So you were instructed to purchase a ebook or paper copy or borrow it and read it, and you'll be prepared to have a conversation at orientation about the book. In addition to the in-person orientation, we have an online orientation by UB Learns. And right now, you do have access to the discussion board. I'll open up the orientation modules once they're available, but right now we have the discussion board, which you can utilize to find housing, roommates, start a conversation, and you should all have access as long as you have a UB IT name. I entered you into the system, so you can start using that whenever you'd like. I put that link in the chat. But you'll also see some other links here about the information about the UB Learns and other important links, a welcome. You'll find greetings from the dean and introductions and a tour and other information that could be helpful for you. So that's the orientation. Housing, again, you can use that discussion board to start finding some roommates if you'd like. But under step 11 here, there's some more information about on-campus housing. You can still apply even though it's past the typical deadline. And there's some helpful links here for you to help to find some roommates and off-campus housing. So another item is course registration. I will register you for a few important courses that I know you have to take. The remaining courses, you're going to have a meeting with Dr. Bees. And once you do your course selection, you can either register yourself via MyUB, or you can contact me. Dr. Bees will point you to me and I can get you registered for the remaining courses. Some of you do have service indicators or holds, which you're aware of. We've emailed you about them. They could be related to international admissions processes, or it could be immunization records pending. And we've emailed you separately about the items that you do need to do to resolve your service indicators or holds on your accounts. So once you take care of that, then you'll be able to register. We have plenty of time to get you registered. We need to register you, I don't have the date off the top of my head, by July for continuing UB students, and the first week of classes for new students. But that international, your international documents, it's really important for you to finalize immediately so that we can get you processed. So that's, let me just check my notes to see if I covered everything quickly. Everything is really detailed on that new student page, and we'll follow up with you individually if we need to about your service indicators or holds. You can check the status of your I-20 on the applicant portal, which is another link that I put in the chat. So be sure to resolve any international admissions paperwork. And that's everything I wanted to cover today briefly. So again, I want you to carefully review all of the information on this new the next steps page, and let us know if you have any questions about that.
Great, thank you. So before we hand it over to our students, do you have any questions for myself, Christine, Dr. Morris, Dr. Bees? We'll still be here, but are there any questions? Christine, I'm going to have you stop your share.
Oh, I'm
so
sorry.
That's okay. Do you have any questions for us that we can assist with at this point? You can unmute yourselves and call them out. You can pop them in the chat. This is a great time for questions for us, for our faculty, staff. And if not, we will have you, our students, reintroduce themselves, and you can ask them questions as well.
I have a quick question. I've been struggling trying to find the exact price of my graduate program.
Sure.
I was able to find like masters in architecture and things that were kind of similar. So I'm
sure. Who is speaking? I just couldn't see. Was that you, Sandra?
Yeah, it's me, Sandra.
Yes, sure. Hold on one second. So we do get questions about this. So I'm just going to show you. I'm just going to share my screen because I just want to show everybody where this is. So if you go to the main, I'm just going to start from the beginning. So if you go to the main part of our website, and everybody can see this okay? Just quick head nod. Yes, okay. So if you go right to admissions and you click costs and financial aid, okay. So there's a number of places you can look. The best place, the easiest place for me to see, I mean, you can look for tuition and fees, but I like to go here to estimated cost of attendance. Christine, you can feel free to disagree, but this for me is the easiest place for me to see. You are graduate students. So you are all graduate students, MS, PhD. So you would be graduate. Okay, so this would be the fourth one down. And whether you're in-state, out-of-state, or international, it's all here. Does that make sense? So Pharm D, if there's any Pharm D, you're down there at the bottom there. I think I'd say it go by cost, but it doesn't. So you are graduate. Sandra, does that help?
Yes, thank you.
Sure. Did you have any clarifying other questions you'd like to ask about that? Does anybody have another question about cost while we're here? Okay, don't be afraid to ask. I can also pop that link in the chat. It helps. Any other questions that we can cover? Really? Okay. Remember, we are getting a number of questions about I-20 processing. I just want to re-clarify because this is important. The admission decisions for your admissions are made at the school level in our school. Then the Office of International Admissions at the University of Buffalo does a secondary review and reaffirms the admission decision. So all of the international processing, your bank statement, your financial form, your passport, your address confirmation form, all of the financial forms and all of those things are handled in the Office of International Admissions, and those forms are uploaded through your applicant portal. Those are not decisions that are made in our school, and the pace at which they make those decisions is not within our school. They are working as fast as they can. They're working evenings, they're working weekends. They are trying to get you the I-20s issued as quickly as possible. Once all of your forms are submitted, they're moving as quickly as possible. There are status updates in your applicant portal. If there is an issue with a form, a bank statement, a question, a passport, a transfer, CVIS transfer, they will communicate with me and I will communicate with you directly. Otherwise, no communication is good news. That means they're moving along with your I-20. Is everybody okay with that? Anybody have questions about that that I can answer? You're free to keep asking. We're not at all. There's no grief in asking over and over again. There's no way that I can make them move any faster. And they know that you're urgently waiting for your I-20s. They understand what's going on in the world. So they're doing it as fast as they possibly can. Okay. Any questions that I can help with that? Okay, so I think at this point, maybe we'll hand it back over to our students. If you guys want to maybe just again, re-hello, and maybe we'll mute and hide ourselves unless something's needed. This time is really for you to talk with our students and ask questions. And I'll pop back in if there's something that we can't answer. Does that work for everybody? Elizabeth, yeah, we want to take the lead? Sure, thanks.
Yeah, sure. So hi everyone, I'm Elizabeth again. And yeah, I'm a third year PhD student. And seriously, if you have any questions about just like grad student life and what it's like to start grad school, like I know me, Kim and John have all we've been there, and know it's kind of a lot of a transition period. Yeah, I don't know if anyone else has any questions, but seriously, just ask.
I don't know if you want, maybe we can just briefly talk about what we do in the lab or whatever. I can go first, I guess. So as I mentioned before, I am in Straubinger lab, so we focus in cancer nanotherapeutics. So we have kind of an eclectic mix of different research niches that we cover. So, and that's kind of one of the strengths, I think, of this program is there's a lot of different ground that you can cover as a graduate student. You're not restricted to just one field of research. So a lot of the people in my lab, we focus in synthetic chemistry, looking at, the synthesis of nanoparticles for drug delivery. We focus on the cancer biology of it, looking at some of the biomechanisms of cancer drug resistance and how nanotherapeutics could overcome some of that. And we have a lot of different collaborations with different people, both in and out of the department as well. So there's really never a dull moment in that regard. You can get a lot of ground coverage depending on what you're interested in doing. If you want to do more analytical work, or if you are strictly a biologist and you want to work in biology, or if you want to go into the computational side, there's a lot of different outlets and a lot of different avenues to take.
Yeah, and I agree with everything that John just said, because yeah, I do research in just like drug transport, and it's really cool because I just got to be part of something called like the International Transporter Consortium, where I got to like talk to people around the world doing similar research. And it's really cool. Just, I don't know, I know that like right now online, we don't really know how conferences and everything are going to be, but it was exciting to be part of an online conference that actually made me feel connected to other people doing similar things. And my PI, Dr. Sproul, was the one who kind of set that up. And yeah, it's really cool. And, the people that you meet and the people that you get to do work with and everything, even through classes, it's just, that part is also the best part of it, just like trying to make friends and learn from each other, because everyone kind of comes in with different backgrounds, and it can be helpful in some classes to learn from other students who, majored in something that you're not really familiar with. And but as a grad student, it's just like, and finding the balance and finding like the mentor that you work with is probably like the first semester is going to be a little bit of trial and error, but it's just important to kind of go in knowing and trying out different, like even trying out meeting with different PIs and figuring out different systems of balance that like work for you with coursework and research.
Yeah, to follow up to what Elizabeth is saying, so like that first semester, you will take like an introductory seminar in which all the professors will come in, talk a little bit about your research, and then like it's kind of up to you to like go on and meet with them like one-on-one, see if there's like a good fit. One of the interesting things about UB is there's something for everybody. If you specifically want to be like doing bench work, if you want a little bit of a mix between computational and wet lab, there's plenty of labs for you. Whereas like for me, example, I work with Dr. Bees and we're essentially a computational lab. So there's definitely something for everybody, no matter what sort of skills you want to get from everywhere.
Yeah, it should be noted as well too, speaking from my experience, I guess. So a lot of the professors at UB in the pharmacy school have pretty close ties to the Roswell Park system. So Straubinger Lab has a permanent space there over at the Center of Excellence, as does Dr. Jun Chu. So that opens up even more opportunities for you, because the whole Roswell Park system is full of a lot of different immunologists and cancer biologists, and those extra experiences that you may not fully get through the pharmacy school, you can sort of supplement through co-mentorships or just people that you interact with, and you know, you get research advice from, and you know, maybe you shadow a lab or something. So you know, it's sort of the beauty of the graduate program is you can really expand and do your own thing if that's what you want to do. It's not as rigorous or tied down as maybe an undergraduate program is, where you're stuck to a certain schedule to get from point A to point B. There's a lot of different branching paths you can take.
Yeah, and I would just recommend even like first semester, like that with that seminar class that we were talking about, just like trying to talk to everyone, and just because you might really hit it off with one of the like someone talking about the research, and maybe you weren't really thinking about going into that, but you started to, you know, it was piquing your interest. And so just trying to like, because right now, like you have no idea of really what is going to be the thing that excites you until you see it. And so starting to even potentially look into mentors now and like just make those connections could make your experience that much more like tailored to you personally, because we could really only talk about how it's affected us, but like everyone's going to come in and have a totally different experience. But just trying to like talk and meet as much of the faculty and the other students as you can is like definitely the best kind of advice generally I have for everyone starting.
Yeah, and if there's a professor that you're interested in, feel free to message John, myself, or Elizabeth, and we can get you in contact with that professor if you just like want a quick introduction, or if there's, or if you want to talk to a student in the lab and see how things operate that way. I mean, between the three of us, we know somebody essentially in every lab fairly well that we can be like, hey, this so-and-so is interested. They just want to know about what you do and about your research and what a day in the lab looks like.
Yeah, I'm going to put my email in the chat if you guys wanted to, just so if students want to like save down our emails, if you have questions about anything specifically after, like Kim said, we're open to, you know, answering whatever question and helping whatever we can, because it's definitely hard right now to get a good idea of what it's going to be like from such a distance.
Thank you guys for conducting this seminar a bit. I had a little some questions about, like, I guess outside of the program. I definitely did a lot of internship searching and started applying in like February, which I think was already too late for a summer internship. So I definitely struggled with that. And I was wondering what you guys did, if you guys did anything in terms of internships or like extracurricular activities like clubs, if you guys were part of any clubs or anything like that.
Yeah, I can start off. So John and I are actually part of, it's called the Climb High program. So it's essentially a professional development program where you work on, where you can work on grant writing, just like developing your inter and intrapersonal communication skills. John, what else do we cover in there?
All sorts of things. I mean, you go over things like research ethics, a lot of different things that you don't normally learn in the classroom within a graduate setting. And in tandem with that, you also gain access to both new mentorships. So the current people that are running the program, Joanna Bartholomew and Anyango Kamina, Joanna is currently leaving the program to seek out other things, but they're getting another person in. But they're invaluable resources throughout your graduate program and can really help fill some of the gaps that you might not get through the classroom. You get to meet with all sorts of different students from other backgrounds as well. Most of the people in the program are biomedical students. Some of them are synthetic chemists or whatever. So you get a lot of different perspectives.
Yeah, and just to highlight exactly what John said, this program was really nice to meet other people not from your program and just kind of like learn how different graduate programs operate, what and different experiences that people have. And since you will be giving like mini presentations on like research during during like your sessions as well. It's interesting to learn about what other people are doing outside of the department.
And also just like to kind of, I wasn't part of Climb, and I didn't have an internship, but to speak just kind of on students that I know that did have internships, like we really do get a lot of emails about opportunities for students and just like, hey, check this out. And like throughout the year, it's like internships, there's job applications. And honestly, like there's some deadlines that, maybe a little bit tight, but there are so many opportunities, and the people that send them, you can kind of see where it's coming from. And so I can't speak personally on like the internship part, but I know that there are opportunities, and the school does make it kind of easy to switch over to doing an internship for a summer or a semester.
Thank you so much. I have
Mhm.
one more question about the Climb program. I'm not a PhD student, I'm a BSMS, and on the website it says like, are you an incoming PhD student? So you have to be PhD?
No. There's a master's program as well. So they run concurrently with one another. So if you went BSMS PhD, you can follow the program all the way up, but there is a master's program as well that you can join. And it's the same concept. It's tailored differently because obviously master's students kind of do some different things, but it's structured the same way. I think Christine had mentioned in the chat that the Climb coordinators will actually be at your orientation, so they can talk about it a bit more in detail.
Thank you.
Any other questions? These are great questions. Okay. Well, what we can do is I can certainly stay on for a few extra minutes. If anybody has any last minute or housekeeping questions, again, this is recorded, so we will share it. We are having another event in July. That's a pre-orientation meet and greet that will be a little bit more student-centered. So again, more of an opportunity for you to get to know our students. Between now and then, again, you have our contact information, and we will continue to communicate with you. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact us. I want to thank our students, Elizabeth, Kim, and John. Thank you so much for the time today. I know it's a busy time of the semester for you. Thank you to Dr. Morris and Dr. Bees, also very busy, and thanks to Christine. Again, thank you all for coming. Congratulations again. We are excited to work with you and hope that you choose our school and our program. And if you have any questions, I will hang out here. I'm happy to help. Okay, thank you again.
Thank you. It was very nice to meet you all. So